Hi guys, it's Marie here from Marie's Acrylic and Gel Nails, but I'm not doing nails. Taylor's going out for a couple of days. She's going away and she asked me to do her eyebrows and eyelashes. Now, because some of you who know me personally know that I did a few years of hairdressing, and so I thought, because the chemists, or pharmacy as you call them, do sell home kits to do eyebrows. I actually use the professional, that's the blue black, and then on Taylor's eyebrows I use a light brown, and then that's the peroxide I use, but I do get that from a hairdressing supply, or a beauty supply. Is up here, because I can get it. I also have the little strips which she will pop out for me, or well, I'll do, because I do her eyelashes first, because Taylor is so fair.
I'm albino.
Even the lightest brown on her eyes is an issue. So, just dropping things. So what you need to do, normally I use Vaseline, but we don't have any Vaseline in the house at the moment. So I'm just going to use a little bit of moisturiser under Taylor's eye here. You've got to be careful not to get it up into the eye. And all I'm doing is using this to adhere these little paper strips. And these paper strips help stop any staining under her eyes. And you've got to make sure you get them nice and high up under there. You get all the lashes there. And then she knows to keep her eyes closed. She's really great. So I'm going to get my black, and I'm going to start putting it on. Now it is a tint. It does use, I think it's 2% peroxide. So A, you don't want to get it in their eyes, but B, you want to get it really close up, as close as you can up on the waterline, because it also helps, and Taylor will tell you she loves it when Mummy does it, because she gets mascara. I mean, not a mascara, she gets a eyeliner for a little bit. And what I will do is I will show you me applying this. I'm sorry if I'm in your way. And then I will pause and I will come back in 10 minutes and I will remove it. Now, I normally have my milk ready, and I use milk, not water, girls. If you're doing this at home and you're having a girlfriend do it and you hate it because it burns, use milk. The milk cuts the acid in the tint and it doesn't burn so much when it's being removed. And Taylor can vouch for that. She prefers
milk,
to what they normally do. Now I've just got clean cotton bud, and anywhere where I've got tint, and you should let her know, the person that you're doing, that when you come in, because her eyes are closed and they have to remain closed now, that you're going to touch her. Like, I've removed my hand, so I'd say, Taylor, Mum's going to touch you, put my hand on the forehead, and then I can come in underneath, and she doesn't get a fright because her eyes are now closed. Now I am going to get my milk and some cotton wool. Okay, sorry about that. I've just got, for the life of me, I don't know what I've done with my cotton wool. So I've just got some makeup pads to remove it. It's not what I normally but it'll do the job. And now I'm just going to get a little bit of milk, and you can use water on the eyebrows. I just use milk the whole way through. So the eyebrows, you want to be really careful, and I start out using the little stick that comes, but I end up converting to my cotton. I'm right here, Taylor, and I am going to touch you because I can't do both. Now I have a timer set for 10 minutes because her eyelashes stay on for 10 minutes, but her eyebrows, by the time I've finished this, her eyebrows, once I've done this side and I go to the other side and fart around and clean up, her eyebrows will be done. So I just get that little bit. Now I've also, got, it's just a little wand, and I'm just going to brush it in and make sure that I've got what I want. Sorry, everyone's had the flu here. And make sure I've got the shape nice, and then anything that I can see that has not any tint on it or enough tint, I am going to go back over. Now this lasts about 4 weeks max, probably lasts Taylor a little bit less.
Yeah, too.
So it is cheaper. She is lucky that Mum can do this, and it makes it so much cheaper for her. Now this is my final cleanup. Touching again. I'm just going to get that little bit that's there on the skin before it is permanent on the skin. Now I have just quickly already waxed her eyebrows a little bit and plucked them just to clean it all up a bit. And again, I'm just going to give it a quick brush through just to make sure I know where I am in my line on her eyebrows, because that fine hair above her eyebrows, you really don't, even though I've tried, we've waxed and we've removed a fair lot of it, you don't, especially on someone as fair as Taylor, you don't want her that leaving there, because that hair will actually get dyed, and then she'll think she has bigger eyebrows than she has and want to pluck where she doesn't need to pluck, if that makes sense. So we've done that side. So again, I'm sorry if I'm in your way. I am going to move the camera this way a bit, and I'm going to turn her chair around a bit. Okay, so you can still see her and what I'm doing on the other side. And Taylor's cat, Devon, is teasing Charlie again. And we'd yell, but you guys aren't going to enjoy that. So hopefully it will stop. It's Devon's game. How can I annoy and tease the big German Shepherd? And then when Charlie gets inside, or Charlie's like, cat, 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 she hasn't ever heard her, but she definitely wants to play with her. and Charlie doesn't know her own strength and can be a little bit rough. So I got some sad news about Charlie yesterday. Charlie has lymphatic lymphoma, for those of you who don't know. She was diagnosed when she was 1 year old. If she makes it to her birthday in November, which we highly doubt after the quick visit to the vet and weighing her yesterday, she won't make it to her 3rd birthday. But her blood tests said that I only had um, 5 months with her, and I've had her longer than that. So the vets was really impressed. Poor Taylor didn't know what to do with Mummy yesterday, in tears on the way home. Charlie's not Taylor's most favourite one of the animals we have, because she's a bit full on, but I'm sure we're all going to be very upset when she goes. So now you can see that her eyebrows are done. I'm just going to wait 1 second to give this one time to catch up. I'll get my pads out, and while I'm waiting, I'm going to include the questions, you know, that for anyone who watches this and goes and watches it, you have a chance to win 25 points for the giveaway if you're involved in the giveaway and signed up, and if you haven't, I suggest you hurry up and sign up. Okay, so yesterday I did the emblems of Australia on our national flag and our state flags, and I'm yet to go on and see, I think it was Crafty Christie or Fiona's nails. They were the first 2 comments that I saw came through. I just haven't, I don't know for sure who was first. So I will go and have a look. But they answered correctly, and for those of you who want to know, on our state flag we have an emu and a kangaroo. The state floral emblem is the Cooktown orchid. The state animal is the koala. The state bird is the brolga. The state gem is the sapphire. And the Queensland coat of arms is the red deer and the brolga. So that's pretty cool. And most of you got all of those correct. Now I'm going to skip and go backwards in a second. I am just going to try and get around my camera and wipe off her eyes. We're going to skip back, seeing I've got some messages from you guys how much you're enjoying the little bits of history, and we're going to skip to why about Australia Day here and what it means for us. So I thought you guys might like a little bit of a history lesson about that. So, and well, not a lesson per se, but a chance to go and look it all up. Excuse me. And we'll find out some more about Australia and stuff. So I hope the camera zooms in and you can see now the colour of her eyebrow. I am going to just go over it once more to make sure with a clean, just to make sure all the tint, because the tint's a little bit brown still on the pad, is off her eye. And as you can see, I hope it's showing up and it's zooming in close, I wouldn't go any darker on her eyebrow than that. Otherwise Taylor starts to look like Marcel Marceau.
Thanks.
And then she wants to hurt me because it's not the first time I've accidentally let it go too long. And I get yelled at for that, don't I, Bobby?
Because I love you.
See? So, but last time she let the hairdressers do it, they left it on a little bit too long, and she had very dark eyebrows because it is literally, I put it on and take it off.
But I don't do it often. There are people that know me. They're like, Taylor, you need to like put on some eyebrows. It's annoying.
And guys, that is the most important thing about tinting eyebrows. You do want it to be as natural as possible. You don't, you know, she's a redhead. She has very fair skin. Even though her hair is darker, and that, if you leave it on too long, it just does not match her skin tone at all, and it is a huge problem. So I'm just rubbing the hair back the other way, making sure I'm just getting off all the colour off her skin, and I have, and then I will brush them out for her. So before I turn the camera off, because we've still got 2 minutes on the timer, I'll ask the question. I'll give you a bit of history first, and then I'll ask you some questions. The British convicts were originally transported to 13 colonies in North America, but after the Revolutionary War that ended in 1783, the newly formed United States refused to take further convicts. So on the 6th of December 1785, orders were given and issued in London for the establishment of a penal colony in New South Wales. Tigger, get out of the tent. Sorry, it was established. Sorry, cats made me lose my phone. It was established, the orders were given to establish a penal colony on New South Wales land claimed for Britain by Captain James Cook from his first voyages of the Pacific in 1770. Now, as you know from my first questions, Captain Cook wasn't the first person to discover Australia. It was the Dutch, and Australia was called New Holland. Now, the Dutch did fight with the British over their claim to Australia. The British had more money than the Dutch. The Dutch couldn't afford a war, so Britain got to claim Australia. We could have very easily been Dutch. So the First Fleet, who was commanded by, I'd like to know, you guys have a look, who was the First Fleet commanded by, were given orders to sail to where? Let's take this timer. Oops. Were given orders to sail to where? There are 11 ships in the First Fleet, mostly convicts. On every year, on the 26th of January, we celebrate Australia Day. How many years has it been since the First Fleet landed on Australian shores? So I want to know who was the commander of the First Fleet, where were the orders given to sail to, where were they supposed to land, and how many years has it been that Australia has been British for? Okay, because we're actually quite young, and I will write those questions down for you guys. Now her timer's gone off, So I'm just going to dip one of these in the milk. I'm going to take away my little piece of paper and I'm going to wipe down. Now you're not rubbing into her eye, you're wiping away from her eye and you're wiping down. Now you keep wiping her eye, and I'm going to have to get a clean one, but you keep wiping the eye until the cotton wool or the makeup pad in this case is no longer showing blue-black. Now blue-black is the darkest tint, eyelash tint. It's darker than black, and Taylor likes the blue-black. It seems to last her a little bit longer. So normally it takes me a couple of goes at doing this, and you do have to be patient. And it's not something, pretty much if you don't know what you're doing or you're unsure, then don't do it, you know. I am only doing this video on it because I are aware that there's a few of you who are into makeup, to give you some idea, but I strongly recommend that you be 100% sure about doing this before you do it. You only get one set of eyes, and this stuff are chemicals, and you really, if you get a lot of it in your eyes, you can cause some serious damage. I asked Taylor to do my eyes for me once, and she absolutely refused. She was so scared, and she didn't want to be responsible if something went wrong. And I fully understand that, and I fully get that. So it is something that if her brother would let me do it to her, I'd teach her, and you know, having mum to teach her, she'd probably have more confidence and be able to do more. But it's a little bit hard when I'm doing it to her and she can't see. Now the makeup pad is clear, fairly clean. So what I do now is I soak a makeup pad in milk, and I asked Taylor for her hand, and I put one in that hand, and I go to this side. I go to this side, again removing that. I have my pads and my milk ready, and the same thing. Always remember, wipe down. And you know if you're wiping it into their eyes, because they will tell you they can feel it burning if it's going into their eyes. So you really do want to wipe down. Don't worry about, I'm getting a bit of a mess up there, don't worry about that too much at this stage. The tint has been diluted now and it won't stain the skin. And Charlie's still after the cat.
It's too long.
No, it's Devon.
No, I had to get down.
And that barking, that's not Charlie, that's actually Missy. So this takes as long as it takes, this stage of wiping it off. You really can't rush it, and you don't want the milk, you don't want to make the mistake, you don't want too much milk on your cotton wool. You don't want it drowned, because if you drown it, then you push the product back into the eye, and it'll sting. I mean, I know it stings a little bit anyway. There's no escaping. No matter who's doing it or how they're doing it, you always get that little bit of sting. But as long as you remember to keep it fairly You just want it moist, you don't want it wringing wet. And you remember to try and brush down away from the eye. Even when I'm brushing on the side, I'm wiping away from the eye. I'm not rubbing into her eye. And this eye's pretty good to go. So as you can see, this pad's fairly clean, so it's good to go. Then she's got her hand up ready, she knows the drill. I'm just going to give another pad to her. Now she's going to put the pads up to her eyes, she's going to wipe them herself, and she's going to slowly start to open her eyes. And now I always do this, it doesn't matter who it is. I always let the person wipe their own eyes. They can feel where it's stinging or any pieces that I have missed. Yep, show them, because there's little pieces underneath that you just can't get. And, well, it's not burning her eyes, it's just that she knows it's there. So, turn around, face the camera, and I'm going to move the camera a bit forward. So now you can see her eyes and her eyebrows. They're all beautiful and done, guys. I will type these questions down below, seeing it got a bit mixed up. Until next time, guys, take care, and please thank Miss Taylor for showing you guys how, letting me film this to show you guys how I do her eyebrows and eyelashes. Yay, Taylor.